My name is Fran McGowan, and I'm chairman of the Nepali Childrens Trust. The Nepali Childrens Trust is a registered British charity that was set up in 2005 to support the children here at the Newlife Centre in Kathmandu. But my involvement with the centre as a volunteer began 2 years earlier, when the children were living in very different circumstances. When I think back to my first visit there, the colour grey is what comes to mind. Thin children with grey skin and dark rings under their eyes, wearing dirty clothes and living in a bleak, run-down, depressing building. The staff were trying their best, but with very meagre resources. The children had some basic schooling, providing they had shoes and the necessary prostheses to get them there. But they didn't always get enough food, and their living conditions were very basic. There were primitive outside toilets and a cold outside tap for all bathing and washing. When family and friends heard about the children, they wanted to help, and that was how the Nepali Children's Trust was formed. Nepal is one of the world's poorest countries. There are no state resources to help vulnerable people, especially the disabled. Rural life in particular is very basic and physically hard. Nepal has some of the most dramatically beautiful scenery in the world. But many villages are difficult to reach and have remained largely unchanged for centuries. The terrain in most of the country is uncompromising. Many children have to walk as much as 2 hours to school each day on steep mountain tracks. There are very few roads in rural areas. The only way to travel is on foot, and on pathways that few disabled children are able to manage. In the event of a serious accident or illness, reaching a very basic health post can mean a walk of several hours or perhaps days. Even then, the family might not have enough money to pay for medical care. As a result, many injuries and diseases go untreated, resulting in far worse problems later on. Resham fell from a tree as a young boy and badly fractured his leg. With no treatment, he ended up with a serious infection and his leg had to be amputated. Since coming to the centre, he's been fitted with an artificial leg, and he's now going to school and doing extremely well. In many houses, people still cook on open fires. Young children are sometimes left unattended because in order to survive, their parents have to work the land. As a result, children sometimes fall into the fire with devastating consequences. Many of our children suffered major burn injuries when very young. Vikash's mother was deaf and didn't hear his cries when he rolled into the fire as a baby. Later, he was badly bullied at school and his mother abandoned the family. Since coming to the centre, he's had reconstructive surgery to his eye, and after years of neglect, is beginning to feel more secure in his relationships with others. Many disabled people have no option but to become beggars on the streets. They also suffer the additional stigma of their disability being seen as a form of divine retribution. Manav was born with a congenital abnormality. His parents died when he was young, and he was sent to live with relatives who punished him for anything that went wrong. Eventually, he managed to get away and was found begging on the streets of Kathmandu. Manav's difficulties are not just physical. He has also suffered emotionally and has needed time to respond to the security and caring family environment provided at the centre. He now has an artificial leg and his mobility and self-esteem have improved dramatically. Anju and Manchara have had polio. Since coming to the centre, they have both had surgery. They also receive regular physiotherapy and their mobility continues to improve. Subhash has had cerebral palsy and is our newest resident. Before coming to the centre, he had spent 2 years in a hostel for street children. When he arrived, he was unable to stand unaided. But with medical treatment and physiotherapy, he is now learning to walk and will soon be able to start school. It became clear that the best way the Nepali Children's Trust could help these children was by providing a new building so that the organisation wouldn't have to pay rent, a third of its monthly budget. But this was going to be a long-term project, and in the meantime, the children also needed more immediate support. We helped to pay the extra rent for new and much improved premises for the centre. We established an education fund so that the children could have better schooling. All the children have now been integrated into normal schools. And we help with other smaller expenses that enhance the daily lives of the children. The children are cared for by a team of 4 staff members. Shanti, the house mother, lives at the centre, providing 24-hour care. Raju, our administrator, manages the office and is an important role model for the children. The children also receive daily physiotherapy, and this is an essential part of their ongoing care and rehabilitation. In addition, the centre attracts many volunteers, both Nepali and from abroad, and their help is invaluable. Over the past 4 years, life for the children and staff has been transformed. Sanjay came to the centre 4 years ago. He was just 4 years old. Both his feet had been roughly amputated as a result of severe burn injuries. He had also lost the tips of several fingers, and the scar tissue on his legs was badly ulcerated. He was hyperactive and seemed unable to relate to others. He was physically rough, perhaps a symptom of the way he himself had been treated. He needed plastic surgery to heal his leg ulcers and was later fitted with special boots. Sanjay now goes to school, and he can run and play like other children. He has learnt to relate to others and can give and receive affection. The change has been miraculous. Nepal is a vibrant and colourful country, rich in culture, but materially very poor and struggling to adapt to the expectations and values of the 21st century. It was closed to the outside world until the 1950s, and in the last 13 years has been torn apart by civil war, making life for many virtually untenable. There is relative peace as we speak, but whatever happens, the road to becoming a stable, democratic nation will be a slow and difficult one. This is one of the reasons why providing the New Life Centre with the security of its own home is so important. We've bought land for the new building on the edge of Kathmandu, where a much better environment can be provided for the children. At the time of filming, we finalised the design and hope to start the first phase of building as soon as possible. A new home will give the children and the organisation a solid foundation. We hope it will also attract more funding both locally and from abroad for its day-to-day expenses. Better resources will enable the children to make the transition from the centre into the world as young adults. The new home will have proper wheelchair access and other basic facilities specially designed for disabled children. The centre hopes to set a benchmark for the care of disabled children in Nepal and provide a model for similar centres in other parts of the country where children can be treated within their own communities. The Nepali Children's Trust aims to offer long-term, sustainable support rather than creating an increasing dependency. We feel that providing the centre with its own home is the very best way we can do this. The future of Nepal is economically and politically uncertain. But with your help, we believe we can give these children a real future and the opportunity to survive whatever lies ahead.